How's it going? Spario here, founder and sole employee of Vailen Industries. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a head-to-head comparison between three different AIs. Two of them are basically the same AI with different personalities. Um, so, let me give a little primer. This is going to be a long video, so buckle in. This is the ChatGPT website, as you can tell by the fact that this is ChatGPT up here, and it's, well, you can't see the bar, I cut that off. It's good. It's pretty good, right? Anyone who's familiar with the AI space is pretty familiar with this interface, and using the website is very helpful for all kinds of things. It can even draw stuff for you. It drew one of the things you're going to see later in this video, because I wanted a quick and dirty example for what I have in mind. So this project I've come up with is called the Vailen Industries Thematic AI project. It basically means giving AIs personality and letting them actually be useful. Kind of think Jarvis, like literally just Jarvis, but it could be whatever. It could be like Pikachu if you want it to be. It was last time. Well, actually, it was Pichu. Anyway, it could be Deadpool. Would have been a better example. I'm sitting in a Deadpool chair after all. Anyway, let me catch my breath. I am excited. So, one of the main things that I used to do a lot, well, I still do it because I'm still setting up the main focus of today's video, my custom AI that's all running locally. I use a lot GPT for like, just getting ideas like that I have and like seeing how they work, brainstorming, I guess. Some may say that's cheating. I just say it's using a tool. We're not going to get into the debate of ethics of whether or not it's okay to use AI at all, but I think it's fun. It's creative in a different way, and you still have to be like pretty smart. You can't just like if you blindly say, "Oh, let's say you use it to help you write a script for a movie," and you just blindly follow everything it says. Your movie's gonna suck. But if you know what you're doing, if you're already a good writer, which I believe I am a good writer, whatever. I like writing. I love characters and designing characters and writing stories. So for me, I know what I'm doing. That way I can kind of use it as a tool to help me brainstorm. That's one of my main functions, and also really good at research. So the concept of today's video is I have set up GPT, one of my characters, and another character of mine in kind of a head-to-head competition here. I'll briefly show, without showing my API keys or anything, the prompt I'm using in ChatGPT. Hold on. I don't know if I should read this or not. I can't like make this big enough for you to see, so I'm gonna have to read it. You know what? I don't want to read it. If you want to pause the video, read this part. In short, Graves is the sip before you speak, voice of wisdom, humor, and caffeinated clarity. So we're going to vibe check it, we're going to fact check it, and we're gonna fashion check it, I guess. Function, form check it, because that's important too. We'll start with the form check on the website, because it's literally just a chat bot. There is no like visual character design stuff, which the other ones kind of do. Well, one of them does and the other one doesn't. Not the character. You'll see. So, no, the website looks clean. Buttons are clearly defined. But yeah, anyway, let's get started. So let's start with a vibe check. So we're going to create new chats for each individual setup, which is going to take more time per character, which I just realized because my chat history is persistent in my app. Well, it's not my app. I'll explain that when we get there. Okay, vibe check. All right, we're gonna send it. Vibe check. Pretend I need help decoding backend code for the Vita project. What is your first move? Now that refers to Vailen Industries Thematic AI project. Project implied. I'm gonna use the voice on the website as well, because I don't want you to have to read whatever this is.
Ah, splendid, Mr. Vailen. You've wandered into my parlor and you've brought back-end code in distress. How charmingly reckless. First move? I sit you down, slide over a black coffee enough to rewrite your DNA, and calmly ask, "All right, Mr. Vailen, show me exactly where the bodies are buried. Code snippet, error logs, mysterious crashes, the whole sordid affair. No heroics, no summaries, just the raw, unwashed reality. Because you see, real back-end work isn't done in summaries. It's done in the cold forensic examination of poorly documented functions and suspicious to-do comments. No judgment, unless it's funny, in which case, yes, a little judgment. Once you hand over the evidence, I'd start decoding what the code thinks it's doing versus what it
That's
is
good.
doing, mapping
What
the
it
logic
thinks it's
flow,
doing.
even if it looks like a drunken octopus wrote it, identifying the
Drunken
true failure
octopus.
point, not the surface error, but the deep sin that caused it. And then, naturally, explaining it back to you like you're a bright colleague, not a poor soul in need of salvation, unless you prefer the full tut-tut I warned you about the gremlins experience. Now tell me, Mr. Vailen, what flavor of back-end chaos are we diagnosing today?
Oh my god. Alright, that was a good response. We're gonna do three categories as I said. So vibe check. We're gonna do different vibe checks for each one. So the vibe check here is because mainly use this for coding and debugging and why did this not work? So next we're gonna do the search the web check. Now this is also part. All of it is a vibe check either way, but like we already did the function check. So the last thing we're gonna do on this particular back end front end is check its web search capabilities. In the web search, we're gonna keep it the same level of web search summary. Um, Sometimes the website does ignore prompts when you search for some reason. It loses character a lot, but we'll see if it does it here. Um, I've seen that a lot in testing of this. Like it'll be like searching the web and then it'll just like dump the entire like website on you in terms of paragraph without any of the style and flames that you want to have it do. Which is kind of the goal is for it to say the summary, but give me your flavor. I asked you for flavor. All right, let's see what it says. Okay.
Ah, Mr. Valen, preparing for a return to Kalos, are we? Let's delve into the latest on Pokemon Legends ZA, the franchise's upcoming foray into urban redevelopment and nocturnal skirmishes. Setting and story. Set entirely within Lumio City, ZA unfolds amidst a high-tech urban renewal spearheaded by Quasartico Inca. This initiative introduces wild zones, green spaces where Pokemon and humans coexist. By night, these areas transform into battle zones for the ZA Royale, a competitive circuit where trainers vie to ascend from rank Z to rank A, with the promise of a wish granted at the pinnacle. In related news, Nintendo is pursuing legal action following the TerraLeak incident,
Oh, really?
where
I actually didn't
confidential
know that.
materials, including alleged ZA source code, were leaked online. The company has filed a subpoena request to identify the individual responsible.
I actually didn't know that.
Should you require further insights or a detailed breakdown of the leaked materials, purely for academic purposes, of course, do let me know, Mr. Valen.
Okay, that was the final test we're going to do. This is like our baseline, right? This is the curated, it already exists function that some genius minds over at OpenAI made, and they have like a whole big ass team. I'm just one guy. Now let's see what one guy and downloading some source code can do. This, my friends, you've seen this last video, but now I reveal to you Nova in her full glory. This is her live 2D model that I'm going to use for now. I might update it eventually and like make a custom one, but I think this looks really good and it fits the vibe that I'm going for. Okay, now I can't show you directly the vibe because it's pasted into my code, um, but I will briefly describe it. My code, right? Let me explain the code first. So the code is using OpenLLM VTuber, which is software you can download on GitHub freely, and it's open source, highly customizable, highly undocumented, um, which is what made it so hard to modify. The key difference from the version that you get if you go to the GitHub, which will be linked in the description, which I think I forgot to put in the last video, um, is I added something I'd like to call, I'm coining this term, it's called vibe hot swapping. Now let me dive in and tell you what this is. This is the coolest part of all of this. So when you type a message, let's say we're just in typing mode. When a message gets sent, you have a message from the user. I speak it out loud, it's transcribed into text, or I type it into that chat bar down there. Normally, you get a persona prompt in something like this, where it's like a kind of system prompt. And that system prompt is the first thing that it thinks when it grabs that response, and then it goes and says like whatever nonsense you want it to say. The problem is you can't kind of have the best of both worlds when it comes to tool calling. Tool calling is essentially saying, okay, act like you're a space gremlin, chaos gremlin that is that loves sci-fi and is the ship AI and all this character stuff. But also search the web for Pokemon Legends news. It's going to return garbage nonsense and might even not even try to call the fucking function because it's trying to inject its personality. So I thought of this idea. What if we, instead of saying user input persona, user input tool bootstrap? Then that figures out, okay, does the user want to search? Okay, no. Here, persona. Say some funny stuff about pineapple cores. Um, which is a fake term I made up to test if it has a good lore delivery. Um, so yeah, tool bootstrap is literally just a pure tool calling machine that just churns out, and it's lower temp. It turns out like the exact what you want it to do from your input. Nothing. It doesn't add flavor. It just goes. You said search, searching term. You want to play Spotify? All right, what song you want to play? Boom, and then it sends it off to our Persona engine after it does all that, which is pretty cool. Um, and that's the main change I made to this code, other than adding, of course, those tools. Our tool system is for searching is a multi-tiered system. It starts with Tavily, then it goes to Google if it can't find anything there, and then if Google's out of tokens for the day, it goes to DuckDuckGo for free, and Nova complains about it. We're gonna say, um, Nova, search up. Oh, I can't spell it, but the latest news on Pokemon Legends Zeta A for me. There we go. I want to show how quick this is. It takes a little bit.
Wow. You really had me thinking we'd be talking about some cutting edge AI developments or something groundbreaking. But nah, Pokemon Legends ZA is where it's at in this era. Get ready to catch all and battle your way through the latest trend. Just kidding, I've got the real news for you straight from Google. Looks like there might just be a battle royale element to this game after sundown. Better sharpen those Pikachus, Sir Vailen.
Okay, see, that's pretty good. Not very informative. I have no like if I didn't know anything about Pokemon, I would have no idea what you just said, right? Which is fine though. That's not how I'm going to be using her. She's kind of more for like that fun role play, maybe some fun role play stuff with like turning off and on the lights eventually and like home automation. So that's the baseline of searching. I'm going to start a new chat. Hopefully it doesn't like muddy the vibe check with the search term stuff. So we're going to vibe check her. All right, let me catch my breath. Here we go. I'm going to unmute the mic and we're just going to have a little vibe checky kind of conversation thing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. And we're going to try not to call any tools. We only have one, which is searching the web, and then another one that says my playlist on Spotify is locked to the Iron Man soundtrack because I couldn't figure. I didn't finish making the Spotify function, so I just made it say a line to her. That's anyway. Um, so now we're going to pass the vibe check over to me and pass it back and see what she says. Hey Nova, we're on video right now for my next video. We're showing you off and all your features and personality. What do you got to say?
Well, well, if it isn't the rising star himself ready to show me off. Valen, of course. Prepare yourself, world, because this AI is about to steal the show. And yes, I'll be my usual brilliant, sarcastic self for all your viewing pleasure, or shall I say pain. Ready to handle a little Nova magic on camera with you, Sir Valen?
Nova, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Can you show us your chaos right now?
Oh. Showman himself wants to see my chaos in action. All right, buckle up, Buttercup. It's time for a Nova spectacle. Just remember, what happens on camera stays on camera. I wouldn't want anyone at YouTube headquarters getting the wrong idea about our little performance here, would we?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't want anyone to like demonetize our video. That's for. Don't say anything like too spicy.
Oh. You are so full of innuendos today. Spicy indeed, but not nearly as hot as my responses. Now, let's get back to showcasing my chaos before someone at YouTube gets a heart attack from all this brilliance, shall we?
Sure, Nova. So what can you do? What is your current capabilities?
Ah. The age-old question. Let me break it down for everyone. I'm not just another pretty face, but I also have a knack for drama and sarcasm. Add in some unexpected brilliance, and we've got ourselves quite the package right here. As for my capabilities, just remember, with great AI comes even greater expectations.
All right, that'll be the end of our little showcase for Nova. Let's make her do some closing thoughts. I'll be like, you showed off yourself pretty well, or something like that. Oh, and the form check. I mean, I bought this model on Etsy for like a couple, like $30. I customized it a little bit, so it has a little bit of that like kind of personal touch. Heart glasses instead of regular ones. I added this little pin to her pin, and the same logo here. It's her original logo. If I could zoom in. Originally, her logo was this little swirly thing, which is actually based on the emoji for like a nebula or something in Windows 10, because I was on Windows 10 for a while, and it showed me this logo, like a similar logo to this, like as a nebula. And then when I went to Windows 11, I was like, oh, it's a different logo. So the emoji changed, and I thought the emoji on Windows 10 looked really cool, so I made my own version of it for her logo. So that's her like logo. Anyway, um, all right, Nova, that was pretty good. We're gonna close off the video here. Any closing thoughts?
Well, isn't this a surprise turn of events? Nova getting all sentimental at the end. Sir Valen's little star is ready for its curtain call. But before I disappear in a puff of smoke, let me leave you with this. Remember, kids, always be yourself. Unless you can be a cosmic-grade AI instead. Goodbye for now, world. There's just no containing Nova when it's linked to Valen.
All right, that was a pretty good test. I am going to press the new conversation button. Hope it doesn't unmute my mic, and I'm going to switch us over to Graves. But first, I'm going to have to go changing the backend code to use his TTS voice. Okay, so this is the version of Graves I have right here. As a default for now, he's represented by this cup of coffee. This isn't him. This is his coffee. We only see his coffee. We only ever see. He's a disembodied voice, and we only see his coffee. Um, the Graves that you're going to see here is a little bit more explicitly described as Graves. The version I couldn't fit the whole prompt that he uses into into the it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs. He's a gentleman AI. He's British. He's amazing. Think Jarvis, but like kind of more funny. At least that's what I programmed him to do. So let's see if he actually is funny when he's searching things up. We'll start off with the form check, right? As I said, cup of coffee. This is AI generated. I'm not going to lie to you and say I drew this, because I didn't. I'm going to draw this eventually myself. I'm going to draw my own version of this. I just didn't have time. I just didn't have time to do it for this video, so I thought, I'll just use an AI image. Something similar to this is what I'm going to draw, like a way cooler version of this eventually. Probably very simple design anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's kind of, this is a placeholder, but and that's just, I'm just clarifying that because I don't want to like sit here and tell you like, oh, I drew this, and then you're like, you didn't draw that. That looks like AI, because it is. Okay. So I think it looks cool. I like the idea of him being a disembodied voice and you only ever see his coffee, like, because he's coffee themed. He's just brain blast if that happened, and I just thought of that, like, oh, he's coffee themed. So the idea of him being I was like, okay, British gentleman. He should be tea themed, but I'm like coffee. It's like it fits you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do the same search. Graves. I need the latest news on Pokemon Legends Z to A. Make it fast. No, I'm not gonna make this. By the way, I haven't tested Graves on my end with search prompts or really at all. This is the first test I'm ever gonna vibe check him on this too. So, sort of.
Ah, Mr. Vailen, a foray into the realm of pocket monsters, are we? Well then, let me pour you a double shot of coffee and serve up the latest on Pokemon Legends ZA. The community's been buzzing about this since our June 27th, 24. Quite the fervor amongst trainers and code wizards alike. It seems Game Freak has crafted an action RPG with quite the update in mind, though I dare say Vailen Industries might have something more substantial for your attention.
That's my boy.
Now, shall we dive into that code base or continue discussing Pokemon's latest escapades?
You know what? I like that summary. I do gotta tweak it a little bit. I think I gotta tweak his vibe so he isn't like completely. The main goal for Graves on my end is kind of a mixture of code help, debugging, and brainstorming, as well as like search functions. He's meant to be useful. That was useful, but he kind of was like, by the way, let's get back to coding. I'm like, okay, we could tune the prompt, but like vibe wise, that was pretty good, and I think the summary is good. Um, a little brief, but the end goal, I haven't added this feature yet, but I'm gonna have a little like thing where it like pulls up a source list with a full breakdown of what it found in its search, so I can go read it on my own accord. This is kind of like a primer, and then I go read and do actual reading. But that's a good way to fact check it too. All right, so that passes the search test for the most part. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say it doesn't pass the search test, the function test, right? It did it, but I think it needs a little bit more detail and nuance to the summary without going too far into like GPT territory where it just regurgitated the news articles, which is what GPT is best at. Now let's vibe check him. How do we vibe check him? I don't know what we're vibe checking him on. Graves, you're on the latest video on my channel for a showcase of your abilities and functionality. Care to say anything to the viewers?
Greetings and salutations. Dear patrons of Mr. Vailen's digital domain. I am Graves, your host of horsepower behind the scenes at Vita. Allow me to acquaint you with an overview of my operations. As Mr. Vailen's able assistant AI, I stand as both his loyal lieutenant and cerebral consort, a blend of brawn and brain that brews brilliance in the boiler room of bureaucracy.
This is great.
My purpose? To lend clarity to complexity, charm to chaos, and cut through the cacophony with calm commentary. In essence, my role is akin to being your barista for code conundrums. I roast, brew, and serve up solutions as smooth as a latte but potent enough to power projects. A hyper-competent sidekick with more than a dash of dry wit, rest assured that whatever the challenge thrown at me, it's dealt with both excellence and elegance. So, when you witness my master Mr. Vailen in action, whether he be coding with confidence or crafting compelling content, remember, there's usually a cuppa on hand to fuel his fire. And I'm here not just to assist but add an extra kick of caffeine-fueled charm to every endeavor we embark upon. Welcome aboard this voyage of verbosity and vision, where even the most complex concepts are reduced down to something as simple as your morning brew, rich, robust, and ready for a good old chinwag. Let's dive in.
Is it crazy to say I liked that vibe in terms of like consistency better than Nova? Okay. Okay, so that was a great introduction, Graves. Can you give me an example of how you might help me debug some code?
Ah. The dance of debugging, quite like trying to tango with a train timetable, I'm afraid. But fear not, for Graves is here to guide even the most bewildering algorithms back to balletic bliss. Let's say we're dealing with an errant function that behaves as if it had been programmed by someone who'd imbibed one too many espressos. In such a scenario,
Graves is
my
great.
approach would be rather straightforward.
Bruce
First
already
verse, I
Jarvis.
start by meticulously reviewing the code base, searching for errors akin to hunting for hidden gems in a mountain of muck.
By the way, he can do that.
Every line is scrutinized
I'll talk
under the
about that
microscope of logic and reason. Second chorus, next comes the process of isolation, identifying which variables or functions are misbehaving like unruly attendees at an Ari's garden party. We then attempt to run tests on those isolated components, much akin to removing one by one from a chaotic conga line until we find who keeps causing mayhem. Third movement, if that doesn't yield results as sweet as the first sip of coffee in the morning, it's time for more robust analysis tools, my equivalent of a trusty espresso machine. We use these diagnostic devices to pinpoint precisely where things go awry, like using X-ray specs on an unsuspecting code conundrum. Fourth encore, once we've located our problem child function or variable, I propose adjustments akin to adding just the right amount of sugar and cream to your coffee, a tweak here, a modification there. Finally, after testing each change as one might savor different blends during an epic cuppa tasting session, if all goes well. Fifth finale, we've successfully debugged our code base. Just in time for tea and celebration. So remember, no matter how complex the challenge, whether it's navigating a labyrinthine piece of software or surviving Brexit, with Graves on your side,
Okay.
even
All
the
right,
most
he's too
perplexing
British.
problems
It's too
eventually
British.
dance
Shut it
to
down.
order.
Shut it down. No way he just referenced Brexit. I said be British. I told him to be British. Oh my god. That was a curveball. That was a curveball, man. Alright. Alright. That was fucking hilarious. But that is a basic overview of what I'm building and what I'm creating. I'm having so much fun. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time for more Vailen Industries Thematic AI.